Welcome, my name's Marty Schenkman, and I'm here with Mark Alton, who's the president of NAPEC, the National Association of Estate Planners and Councils, as well as the chairman of the Synergy Summit. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
So, you and I have talked a lot about a lot of issues that I think are vital to the future of the profession, and one of the things we were chatting about was what you see as both unprecedented risks and opportunities for, let's call it, the broader estate planning profession, firms, individuals. Why don't you elaborate on that?
Sure. It's interesting. I just saw a Family Firm Institute call for proposals for their Miami conference, and they talked about the new frontier, disruption and co-creation. And I think whether it's 3D sensing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, 5G that's going to be 100 times faster than 4G, the Internet of Things, there's all these things that we hear about, and we're all experiencing some sort of fee compression and talk about robo-advisors and so on and so forth. So the question really becomes that I think about, both in terms of my roles in these different organizations, is what do the organizations have to do and what do the practitioners have to do between now and the next 10 years to become a practice of excellence or an organization of excellence?
It's certainly going to be a lot of change. I think anyone that doesn't change is going to perish.
Yeah. So, at NAPEC, our mission is to promote excellence in estate planning. But excellence can mean different things to different people. So here at Heckerling, we learn a lot about tax minimization and asset protection and providing maximum flexibility and control, all designed to transfer the maximum amount of wealth down to the next generation. The question is that good enough to rise to the level of excellence? And will that be enough to differentiate us from the machines and to justify our fees going forward?
Sure. One of the terms I hear used a lot with that is commoditization. And it really affects everybody. Robo-advisors may affect, and the no-cost, no-load mutual funds may affect those in the financial arena. While lawyers like to think LegalZoom doesn't have an impact, it does. And it's not just LegalZoom. Drafting software enables more attorneys to draft more sophisticated documents if they're needed. Certainly accountants have to feel the pinch of TurboTax and other hungrier practitioners.
Sure.
So it's across the board. It seems to me that part of the answer is to more broadly define, more holistically define what we do,
yeah,
and to take a more eclectic, collaborative approach to addressing planning. The things you said that are the focus of many conferences and symposia aren't really broad enough. Maybe you want to comment on some of the things that you think are missing, because that's a key to where we all need to look.
Well, so one of the things I think a lot about is one of the biggest problems that our clients face, which is the shirt sleeves proverb. So 70% of the time, the family wealth, the family values, the family itself are dissipated by the end of the second generation, only survive the third generation 9% of the time.
It's incredible.
It really is. And so why is that? Well, 65% of the time is for lack of trust and communication within the family, nothing to do with tax planning.
No.
25% of the time, it's for lack of preparation of the next generation to receive the wealth. And 10% of the time, it's for lack of a family wealth mission statement, if you will. So, the question is, how much of our time should we be spending helping the family do those kinds of things to help them perpetuate the family wealth, the family values, the family itself, and to promote individual and family flourishing? And if we do that, will that be enough to rise to the level of excellence and to justify our fees and I think, what you just mentioned is absolutely true. I think professional advisor collaboration, although challenging and difficult, we have theory, we have process, we've articulated it. We published a 35-page white paper on it at NAPEC. It still is very difficult for practitioners to do. There's all sorts of challenges, including compensation schedules. But I think that's another area where machines just can't compete with us on these high-level relationship activities that include collaboration and all those things I mentioned earlier.
Sure, the creativity that can come out of a truly collaborative process, the breadth of ideas that can be generated when you have a holistic, broad view of planning.
Yeah.
That's not going to be commoditized for a very long time until artificial intelligence gets there. And that's not on the near horizon, I wouldn't think.
You're right. One of the scariest statistics I heard recently was Merrill Lynch said that 50% of the companies in the S&P 500 will be replaced within the next 10 years.
Wow.
So again, I think our conversation right now, Marty, is very relevant because I'm talking to my boards and to all the councils that you go out and speak to a lot of estate planning councils.
Sure.
And I'm asking everybody this question with all due respect: what makes us think we're going to be here 10 years from now, and what do we need to do in order for us to ensure that we're going to, survive it and thrive in that environment?
Do you want to make any last comments before we wrap up?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
So I think that Mark's comments that there's unprecedented risk to all of us as professionals, as well as unprecedented opportunities, is very true. And I think it's going to take a lot of out-of-the-box thinking, out of the box in terms of what we've traditionally done to get us all there. But I think the future is very bright. I'm
I
very
do too.
optimistic about
Absolutely,
it.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us. Please bear in mind that the video clips are not intended to give legal or professional advice, but are merely for educational purposes. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Marty.